Moving to Oneness. Nourishing curiosity. Embracing differences. Becoming one.
Two souls met many years ago, recognizing each other and knowing we're here for each other. And this journey together and crisscrossing on a regular basis to increase the light or nudge each other forward a tiny little bit further has created such a deep friendship and understanding and catapulted us both very, very far. So stay close and listen in to this fantastic guest. He's so vast, so grand, has so many angles. And the fun part is yesterday, because of him, the wind here where I live in Nuremberg started blowing. And I recognized that today, whatever will be spoken is gonna bring peace to all of us. So I'm Meilin, the host of Moving to Oneness podcast, and please welcome with me my lovely, fantastic guest, Terry Earthwind Nichols, who is sitting in Asheville, North Carolina, US. Hello, Terry, how are you?
Hello, my dear friend. So excited to be here. Thank you for allowing me to be your first guest of the year. This is beautiful.
Yes, and everyone, it's his birthday today. So I'm going to rap and say happy birthday, dear Terry. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. What a start.
Thank you, dear.
What a start. What a start to bring out your energy into the world. And it doesn't look like you're stopping and relaxing. You keep moving and expanding and building out a web where people can fall back into and begin to recognize themselves. So tell everyone how that started, when you recognized that you bring this calmness to people so they can move into a peaceful state.
Well, my journey began, Earthwind comes from my tribal name, Gado Onule. I was raised to believe I was a fourth generation Irish American white boy. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until I was 46 years old that I found out that in fact, that I am Native American or Native Turtle Islander. North America from Mexico to the North Pole, if you look at it just so, is very similar to a turtle. So that was called Turtle Island for thousands of years. Go figure how that came about.
Yeah.
Spiritual world is mm-hmm. quite interesting. And since then, when I found out, as you and I have spoke many times, there was this calm come over me, like, some of these weird things I've been thinking and seeing most of my life that my mother used to tell me, don't tell people, sometime, someday, it'll all become clear. And I took it for face value because I was a very young man at the time, somewhere around 8 years old. And yeah, and now it's coming clear. And not only that, back in 2009, I had a vision in the middle of the daytime. You know, Main Street Society would say I hallucinated. Wasn't taking anything to hallucinate, so go figure. But within a week of seeing this, this amazing golden horn come out of the ball at me, while I was enjoying the Sunday morning newspaper, all of a sudden my world changed. And the prophecy on Turtle Island is sometime in the future, there will be one born from Turtle Island who will gather the four nations of the world back together as one nation again, as it was in the beginning. And that's the red, white, black, and yellow. And that time coincides with the age of Aquarius, for those of you who follow that. Water sign, water comes to water. So it's the gathering time of the world. And everyone knows the worst part of any storm is just before it's over. And it's a stormy time in the world right now.
Yeah.
So that's the bad news. But the good news is it's almost over. And very soon in my lifetime, this is exciting. In my lifetime, we're going to see world peace, where the young ones now, I say people under 30, are not going to live in this world like it is. They're going to take over, and they're going to stop, and they're going to make it one world, and they're going to save the world so that it's habitable to humans. And that's all working right now. It's happening. And the old world, the old ways of thinking and war and all that stuff, they don't have as much power as they think anymore. And that's changing. It's exciting. So that's a little bit about where my world came from. And then all these things that I used to see as a child, as it turns out, are quite interesting, because there's messages involved in them. And I just allow them. I had a Native American elder teach me that whatever you're thinking, whatever you see, whatever you hear in your mind's ears, it's a message, and it may not be to you. And so repeat it out loud, and the person that it's designed for, or to receive it, will somehow be around you when you do that, and just let it go. And so once in a while, Meilin and I have talked about it a lot. Once in a while, these very weird sounding words will come to me in a group of people, and I'll just say it out loud. And the people that it's not for don't pay attention. They didn't catch it. But somebody in the crowd will turn around and look at me and go, smile, and leave, or just go do something else. That's the person the message for, whatever that is. And how it is, I still don't know, because they always leave. So I can't walk up to them and say, did you hear that in English, or did you hear it in that gobbledygook I just said? And it's not important. It's just not important, because it's not for me to know, it's for them to know. So it's delightful. My world peace journey is not boring. That's for sure.
I can hear that. I wanted to add, it's so important that we don't censor ourselves. I speak a lot about this, right? I had to learn it myself, because I speak words all day long, or sentences, and I was lucky to have people in my life that responded to me when I had even a part of a sentence, right, would impact them so much, and they would tell me. And so over time, I learned that my spoken word was important. And we are so taught to condense ourselves, compress and keep ourselves tight and not wide, and not act on our own impulses and thoughts. And especially what we want to say, to voice out the knowledge that comes through. And I invite everyone, as Terry just said, so it's so important to not say it's not important, because you are a being that is an integral part of this planet, of this cosmos. You're not less or more than anyone else, right? Mm-hmm. And what you have to say is important. And if we don't understand it for who it is, or even in the written word, it will be for someone else. We don't always have to understand the outlet, but we have to say to ourselves, stay open and share your wisdom.
Absolutely. And, we're the messenger.
Yeah.
It's not important for you to understand. It's only important for you to pass on. That is the work that you're get to do at any one point in time. And just be at peace that someone received what they were looking for because of you. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that builds community too, right? That it starts us back into, you were speaking about that we will move into this beautiful time, peaceful time. That also means for me that there will be community again, where we're living not so separated, right? We were separated thousands of years ago by conquerors or people that wanted to dominate other people. Yeah, and we were taken apart. We have lost a lot of wisdom. I would say many cultures on this earth, right? And you're also working toward that we begin remembering what that wisdom is, and then we recognize each other in it. And that it is important that we come together and have this conversation, like you two, like we two, right? I'm in Germany, you're in the US, and we found each other, and then we had these similarities, even visions similar. And then this connectiveness brings us together and strengthens us and supports us in the unfolding. And this is coming very strongly. And maybe that is the time now where many people think, oh, I'm so alone, but it opens opportunity to get to know each other around the world. And also you as an ambassador, you go and share your knowledge with so many on this planet. A lot of work you're doing now in Africa, right? In supporting them to recognize themselves and their own cultures, and to pull out the wisdom out of the ground, right? Out of the landscape, so they can feel comfortable in being themselves again and be their optimal self. That's what I see that you do so well.
Yes, and it's exciting, the work that I'm helping with in sub-Saharan Africa is vital to the future. It is a new business model, and it's one of people-centric and achievement-based. It's no longer about timelines and goals and lying and cheating and doing anything you can to make those goals. It's not about that anymore, because you folks that are listening, when was the last time that you achieved something? How did you feel? And it felt really good and you wanted to do it again. So what if you worked in a culture that was based on achievement and doing it again? You don't need timelines and goals. You're going to exceed expectations on a regular basis. And here's something a lot of people are not present with, and that is, when you're achieving regularly, you don't get sick. You're excited. You're healthy. You sleep well. You're not worried about stuff, right? And you don't get sick, so you don't burn out, and you sure don't leave your company. Okay, so we have steadier employment, and everyone is working towards achievement and a vision of a better world and a better company and better people. It's based on that, not the almighty dollar, so to speak.
Yeah.
It's exciting, very exciting.
I love that beautiful nugget. Yes, I've sensed too, there is an imploding happening of the industrial age. Also, if we set always plans, we cannot let things happen. We can't live in the moment, and we're beings that thrive in living in the moment, right? We're not, as we're taught, inflexible. We're very flexible people. And so often, I don't know how it's been in your life, or dear listener, in your life, so many things we couldn't even fathom them a few months earlier, or a year ago, or a decade ago, right?
Yeah.
Or 5, who knows what's in 5 years? And I think too often this a planning or timelines. They have made us smaller. They have shrunk creativity. It has not influenced creativity. And what you said so beautifully, when we're creative, when we create, we're beings of creation, or we create. And we decide to create or not to create in any single moment, a second, a nanosecond, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right? And then if all the particles have fun because we're so excited, the most beautiful things can occur.
You know, breaking the world down into minutes and seconds and those kinds of things keeps us on edge, and we're not as creative. We're not as present. Presence is a point where manifestation becomes action. So whatever you're present with will come to light. It will start coming to you. And, you know, we're emotional people. You get emotional now and then, things happen, but you get to choose whether or not that is part of you. Now, that doesn't mean that we walk around happy all the time. That takes too much energy. That's not centered information. There's the yin and the yang of natural progression. You know, that's why there's storms. You know, it just happens. So you get through the storm, or you sit it out and wait, and then you move forward. That mindset of get to versus have to, and knowing that you can't wait to get to work in the morning, you can't wait to get up and get your children ready or whatever and love them before they start their day, so you can start your day without the stresses of what's coming up or anything like that. You're going to be a better, healthier, more productive person, family member, member of society. It's a really big picture thing.
Yeah, and it's coming close. Many people speak about 2030. So that's 8 years. So there has to be coming a change of our thought patterns, our action patterns. Right? There where companies suddenly are making extreme different choices in how they want to run their companies, right? Even though to take care more of the planet, somehow I can feel also there are many, and you were talking about the younger people in this company, suddenly they're getting the momentum, there are more and more of them, and they just make that choice. And then they say, how do we get there? Where before that, oh yeah, no, by then I was just watching an older movie, right? People said, oh, who cares? By then I'll be dead. But this is not the here anymore. There is this desire within all of us. And I think that has been really strongly awoken the last year, or this year as well, come now into fruition, that we want to improve and optimize not just ourselves and find really what we're really about, not just we're walking human beings on this earth, but what makes us tick. Why are we here right now? What is the role we play? How do we treat and respect a landscape and the nature? What do I take out of the ground, right? And how do I treat maybe then even the earth with respect? What do I give back, right? It's not anymore this whole taking. People have enough of that, and you can feel it. They're looking for answers, and they're starting to question, and this questioning is getting louder, and they know they have to observe themselves and change. And that is what's going to move us suddenly in a faster and faster and faster rhythm to this beautiful, peaceful world you have envisioned for all of us.
That's a very good point. The point of rhythm is when we're all vibrating about the same, you know, there's no conflict there because we're all on the same level. We're all, you know, we love and adjust our thinking and all those kinds of things with people who are like-minded, and that if everybody's like-minded, then it doesn't go like this. It stays relatively same. So you have a beautiful segue to the rhythm, because everything in the earth is rhythm.
Yes.
So it's delightful.
It's very harmonic. And, you many years ago, you were in the Navy, you've traveled the world, you also got to see a lot of places, you've met people from all around, and you always also trained your eye, right? In the way of profiling, you were able to see when people were unhappy or not peaceful, if they spoke it out, those words, and not, and you always noticed what it does to a person, right? It hinders us to think creative, to do our passion, right? You were saying we will be looking forward to work. I even want to go a step further and say we will live ourselves, we'll be ourselves. So there is no work and not work, because we'll be creating what we desire, what we love in every single moment. Yeah.
Yes,
and I bet you're gonna know, and you spoke about it, you already see that change in people, probably in their faces, right? In their body language, how it has changed. How would you say that if you would look back 30 years to now?
Well, take sales. It was all about having the advantage and closing the sale. And the advantage had no real ethics attached to it. And it's just make the sale. I don't care what you do, just make the sale, and don't get caught if you're lying. That kind of stuff. Now, that's no longer relevant. We are making relationships with each other in service to each other, because people who are close, have friendships, have mutual respect, they'll refer people to you. You'll send people to them, and the big picture is everybody's successful, and the result is you're far more successful than you thought was possible. And that rhythm is what's driving innovation now. And you see it regularly with the massive wind farm project off of Netherlands that's getting started right now. That is a huge project. 30 years ago, people would not only say no, they'd laugh at you for even thinking it. Mm-hmm. Now it's real. India has huge 20 or 30,000 hectare solar farms they're putting in. The major petroleum companies in the world are looking at closing down fossil fuel in the not too near future, because it's no longer something that can be done. It's just that this is going to change. Nobody has to make a change. They've made a mental decision that they get to change. So when they get to change things, they're more positive in themselves and their decisions, and they work for the good of the whole.
Get to change. I love that expression. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
It is the trust we give each other. While you were speaking, I had to think about safety. So if I feel safe to be me, wow, then I can be really creative. I'm much happier right away, right? I don't have to watch out, or I'm not sad, all these things, right? And this is then a beautiful relationship that we have then with each other, or the people we create with, and also then again in the big picture of nature, and getting into that rhythm where we can feel comfortable and supported and not feel alone. So if you just go into the energy of that, knowing you're not alone and you're safe with others, which we've taught the opposite, right, for much too long. also not safe people that don't look like each other or we don't understand each other. So this is then bringing that back into the workforce, which is also important, right? Because we're working now, you were hinting to major companies. They have people from around the world working together, bringing their ideas together, and their experiences, their different experiences. That makes it then even so creative. So the respect and the value we provide to others create this new change. And
Yeah,
I can see it
spot
as what
on.
you just
You
shared.
know, and yeah, bad people calm down too. Like bullies are bullies because they started out as victims and they're paying back the world for themselves being victim. But if they're in a safe environment, they don't bully.
Mhm.
They get to be a kid or an adult like everyone else, and they belong like everyone else. They don't do that behavior. That is not an inherent behavior of a human emotion.
No.
That is a learned response to a hostile environment. And when that hostile environment is removed, a lot changes. And, you know, because people, the basic principles of a human being is to love and be loved. That's the very basis. You know, we come out of the womb in love. We look up at our mother and whoever's there, and we look up at them in love. And you know, as we grow, the various stimuli that we become witness to affects the way that we're going to react and act in the world. I often come quoted for that, and the safety of the environment that we're creating in this world as we go on is going to drive that behavior to be more inclusive.
Oh, this is beautiful. Okay. You know, sometimes I want things happen really, really fast. Um, but it's going to happen really, really quick. And also everyone, this time period, Terry was speaking about prophecies. This has been spoken about thousands of years ago, that exactly 2021, 22, this change comes and now is coming and is here and is changing more and more in to the positive. So I love that. And you know, I at the beginning when you spoke about the turtles, isn't the earth also a turtle for many tribes, right? And so you are really, if I look at your name, Earthwind, you're really here to take care of the earth. And the fastest way is, I think, to support us human beings. Nature can catch up rather quickly again as soon as we let it repair itself. I also envision that the wind brings a lot of information to all of us and moves those seeds around, and so things can grow again. And so even if we value then again the earth and start fixing it, but not fixing like we've done before, but really taking the time and looking at ecosystems, like the same kind of systems. Ecosystems and business system are very similar, right? Or even the human body, it's structures that all interplay with each other, and when one part is not working, it has influences on the other parts, right? And then they cannot be in the optimal state. So, but to learn more about how can we replant, how have been the ancient ways of sustainable ways to plant again, so that you were talking about the Sahara, right? There are ways we can plant different, not what we've been taught the last 200 years, but they're more ancient ways the plants can thrive again. And
you're right.
And find the ways of the ecological system that has been there. So we have to look and learn also to look further back. I invite many of you to look even further than history books, further than biology books or landscape books, to go in and really listen, because one thing is important. The earth gave us our language, right? All our languages are based, the sacred languages are in our environment. We took the cues, we took the sounds and put them into the language of a certain area. So go look at your language. What sounds are spoken? Listen to the environment around you. What language do the plants speak or sound, and the birds, the animals, etc., and become more fine-tuned, because then also we're not an interrupter or like a thorn somewhere. We can go back into the harmony even with our environment where we live in. I even thought, yesterday I spoke and I thought, architecture has to change so many things to be open and creative enough as we move into this time, Terry. What is right that we're living and what is not right? Even things we're so used to take a moment and contemplate, is it still sustainable, or does it support me in being happy or helps achieve things, right? So we can go more into the details. So that's what I would invite many for this year, to look at the details of life.
Yeah, like you were saying, get out into nature. Well, you don't have to get fully into nature. Just being outside in the fresh air, you're going to gain something. And if you don't worry about it. If you want to go hug a tree, hug a tree. If nothing happens, so what? Go hug another one. At some point, the vibration that you are creating within yourself to understand, feel, and become part of the vibration of something else. It could be a rock. It doesn't have to be a living organism. You will, and you'll feel it. And up until I was 50 years old, you would not get me hug a rock or a tree for nothing. I was a white boy, mainstream America. We're not doing that. Now I do it all the time because I follow my instincts. My wife and I and our little puppy will be walking in the woods on the trail you and I have walked on. And I have this pull to go hold a tree. So I'll go hold it. It's no big deal. I have something for it, and or it has something for me. And it's not important which it is. And we just become one with who we are and where we are. The resulting movement, electrical systems inside of us align better when it's vibrating. It's like a tuning fork. You interrupt the vibration, it changes or stops. But if you don't do anything with it, it takes a very long time for it to change. Mm-hmm. So, it's about being one with what's around you.
I love the one, what you said, being one with it wherever you are. Mm-hmm. Right? This is again, that means we're comfortable anywhere. We can understand anything, even if it's a different language, if a body language, right? Different cultures have different body languages, or in a different climate zone, right? So we can adjust to the vibration. Ooh, I love that. To be one with where we are.
And it's not figuring it out. There's nothing to figure out. It is what it is. So if you're in an office building and you're inclined to just put your hands on the wall, do it. Okay, there's an exchange there, whatever it is, it is. It's not good, it's not bad, just an exchange of vibration. Good for the building, good for you, or both, And it's not important who it's good for. It's being one, being present. Present is that place. The past is your experience. The future has a lot of stress to it, and it'll get here anyway. present is just being right now, and just allow whatever's going through your mind at the point of being present to become clear, and it will.
Yeah, because then we don't push things aside because we have to run somewhere else. Then I can listen better to my child. You know, he may have longer time to express something, and then I'm not sitting there, say what you need to say, right? When I'm present, it's like I'm falling back into the body, right? You speak a lot about the body. We can fall into it, we can sense, and then there is no time at that moment. You were speaking about it, and I would love for others, think about what time really is. Suddenly, if you're so present, you create your own space, then time doesn't become important, because you should know you could, and you can accelerate time, or you can slow it down. So we can even learn to play again with time. There are not people out there who teach that again. But being the present,
you're right on.
we can be the one in the most important, because the most important time is in that moment in the relationship I'm with, that is my chair right now, or with you, Terry, or in a conversation with my son.
Yeah, and I'll give you guys that are listening in, thank you again for doing so. I do a morning meditation that's less than a minute long. But when I'm finished with it, it's 30 to 45 seconds most of the time. I am fully grounded and at peace. And I stay that way all day. I don't need 3 hours of meditation. That doesn't mean that you can't. Some people enjoy that and they're present with it. That's fine. There's times when I will go sit on my mountain and spend a lot of time and be in the beauty and the oneness of it all, and that spiritual connection I get from it. But I can do it just as easily sitting here in my chair for a few moments with my eyes closed and send peace vibrations across the longitudes and latitudes of the world. I send them across the power vortexes, which we all know are present. And NASA and everybody else uses those powers vortexes for reference points. Yeah. So, it's just being present. It's just getting to that right now. And then you can move on. You can do whatever you want, or you can stay there. There's not a good choice, not a bad choice, simply a choice. And we can always change our mind, right?
Yeah, I like that. There's no right and wrong. We do what we desire to do in any second, in any moment. And it was the right thing to do, because we are beings that can decide to create or not create in that moment. And if we give ourselves this freedom, this brings us the freedom to be our own oneness. That is what provides then and radiates out, as you said so beautifully, the vibration of love and peace to anything else. And others can synchronize to it. So if you're in a setting with many people around, as you were speaking about, Terry, a 30-second, if you do that in an office space, when you notice it's getting hectic, right? Do something that brings your self-calmness or peacefulness, and that emanates right out into the other people. And you draw them through your work in, so they can draw themselves into themselves and become peaceful. So we have the ability to do that. I would love everyone to try it out next time when you're somewhere, or in your family, if you have with your parents, right? Or with your children, or with your partner, or they're all in one room and you notice a little could help, do the exhale, and everyone else around you will start exhaling.
Right on. Yeah, wonderful.
Yeah. So you have done so much, and as I said at the beginning, we could talk for hours to go through your life experience and what have you done. But what is important for you now, Terry, as you move forward to bring out to yourself or for yourself, and also for the world?
Big question.
Yeah, I know.
You know, like I've said, presence is a point where manifestation becomes action. And I believe that when people reach out to me, I respond accordingly. And, you know, if you can ever, I'm always saying this, if you can be anything, be kind. And you help someone who then helps someone else. And my global reach is expanding, as we've talked about.
Yeah,
And that's
huge.
part of my spiritual journey.
Mhm.
You know, there's I'm connected literally all over the world. I might even have somebody in Antarctica. I just don't know that right now, but just pretty well everywhere else I do. And that's terrific, because this is that time where the vibration, as we were speaking of earlier, is changing and it's stabilizing. It's just not all over the place anymore. We have a lot of people in a lot of places around the world who are going into that. Okay, here's the base. I understand I'm going to get really happy once in a while, and I'm going to be upset once in a while, but here's where I am. But we're now all going here.
It's like
where we're all above that old norm of craziness. Now we're creating a new center of vibration that's much higher and more connected.
oh, that's going to be beautiful, because then we'll also understand nature so much better. For me, nature is always important.
Yeah.
I'm
not going to be surprised to see little kids playing in playgrounds or whatever, and nobody's speaking out loud, and all of a sudden goes, yeah, I think we should do that. And the other person that they just talked to never said anything. So what did they say, or how did they say it? Mind to mind. You know, evolution is at a new level, and that's what we're talking about here, where, you know, the person you're with could finish your sentence or your thought, you know. So
yeah, that is happening. I've really noticed that change within myself the last 4 months, extremely. And I say it before someone else can think it. Yeah, I'm also noticing the children are exactly doing what you're speaking about. They use telepathy. Not that we didn't know it was coming and intensifying again. And often people speak about that they're separated, or they're just on the phones of what, for example, but they're connected. It's amazing. They use less words. They try and still send out what is needed. And I've noticed that as well with the youth. So that's, I also believe they're going to bring already in this time. We don't have to wait for them to grow up or be an adult as it was once before, right? For too long, we have downplayed children and the youth, the creativity of them, the respect for them was barely there. And that is changing as well, and it's going to come very strongly this year, that they will voice much more of their thought, of their experience, of their knowledge, and everyone watch them, because they're really walking their divine knowledge in whatever they do. And if they don't speak, wonder why they're not speaking. What, right? And when they do speak, listen tenfold.
yes, very good way of saying it. Yes.
Ah, Terry, wonderful to have this beautiful conversation with you, that you shined a light on what is coming. And it feels very comfortable, even though it's change, but there is an embraciveness. Also, that in English doesn't work. It's like it's embracing us, and an inclusiveness. It feels like nature will we're becoming part of nature again. We will understand it so much better, and their beautiful song. Yeah, so that's why it feels doable. What else does it feel? And like a little exciting, but not like an exciting word, but exciting and a gratefulness that it's coming.
Yes. Grateful.
Mm.
You know, too often we don't appreciate what we carry around inside of us, and we carry around a lot of power that can be tapped into. And I believe that those awakenings are happening now, and the use of that power is for the good, not for control or other things. However, there are times when that power can be used to control somebody who seeks to destroy.
Mhm.
And so I always say, always be kind, but take no grief.
Yeah, that's a good one. So Terry, you are also in the Moving to Oneness Facebook group, but if people want to get to know you better, want to speak with you, and how can they reach you best?
I tell everybody, I'm all over the internet. So
Yes.
if you Google or Bing or do a web search for Terry Earthwind Nichols, you got to be sure and put Earthwind in there. There's 17,000 Terry Nichols in North America, so I'm hard to find that way. But if you Google search Terry Earthwind Nichols, there's only one in the world. So you get
One.
my company's websites, social media channels, all of that. And I'm very easy to research and to contact. So
And
I
to approach.
tell people that's the easy, and I'm easy to approach.
And to hug.
Yeah. And a hug. I'm a hugger.
Yeah. So everyone, he just doesn't only hug the rocks and trees, he also hugs people. So, and if you get
That's right.
one of his
With
hugs,
permission.
you will love him. Yeah.
That's right. And with permission, our bodies are our own.
Yes.
We just don't reach out and hug people for fun of it. You get permission to hug, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that there's that change or exchange of positive energy as opposed to rejection.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm a big hugger with permission.
I love that. I love that about you. So a final word or sentence to everyone before we close this episode.
What comes to mind is my word for the year, trust.
Ooh,
I trust
yes.
me. Okay. And I encourage people to find a word for the year. Please use trust. It's not owned by me. And just trust yourself and start trusting yourself that you have more control in your life than you believe you do. And once you start trusting yourself, the power to keep yourself gets stronger every time.
Oh, I love
So
that.
trust.
Trust. That's a big word for me too. All my life, to trust myself. And it's practice, and it's fun to observe yourself, trusting yourself more. And then also automatically happens, you trust everyone else in a deeper level. And this creates magic, and many, many, many surprises. Beautiful. And Puccini, my cat, woke up and says, yes. It is exactly though this way. Thank you everyone for listening to this beautiful conversation. Do reach out to Terry Earthwind. He's the only Earthwind on this planet. You should know that. Nichols, find him. He really is a fascinating person to have conversation with, as you just noticed. And if you're lucky, you'll be able to hug him. And otherwise, reach out on Facebook on Moving to Oneness group. There you can ask questions or ask any one of the other guests questions, or share your wisdom with us, or what you would love to hear next this year. So thank you, everyone. I'm Meilin, your host of the Moving to Oneness podcast. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.